just had a conflict in the car, and just like, man, I don't know if we're gonna make it here, like after all that.
What if I told you that 15 minutes a day could revolutionize you and your marriage? Would you be willing to try it even if your spouse isn't as reticent? The testimony you're about to see of Logan and Tammy's reconciliation is one of many positive outcomes we're witnessing at the Lowcountry Biblical Counseling Center through the simple use of 12 marriage meditation cards. It's a simple yet thorough way to engage the hearts of each spouse through coaching in the daily 15-minute habit of effective review on these prayers. Literally, the Spirit of God is doing the rest.
Lord, use my ears and mouth as tools of the Spirit in the life of my spouse. Ephesians 4:29-30 says, "Let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, but only such a word as is good for edification, according to the need of the moment, so that it will give grace to those who hear. Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption." When I read this and meditate on this, it really just shuts me up. I just don't have anything to say, because for most of our marriage and even with our kids, I'm so critical. I see it as I'm helping or I'm improving, but everybody else sees it, of course, as criticism, and they're not good enough. When I meditate on this, I realize that how I listen and how I speak is meant to help Logan, to lift him up and to edify him.
Now I'm looking at the calendar with Tammy every week. Never in a million years would have been that way, before this. Lord, teach me to deal with my spouse's weaknesses and sins the way you deal with mine. And the verse is from Ephesians 4:1-3. "Therefore, I, the prisoner of the Lord, implore you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, showing tolerance for one another in love, being diligent to preserve the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace." I'm called to be humble and gentle, turning my heart towards her, and having more of my heart towards the children. Before, it was like, I'm going to hold a grudge, or I'm going to wait until, she says really sorry, because, it's going to happen again, and like that kind of thinking, negativity is just, it's not there. We're asking for forgiveness, and we trust that the Lord sees this, and we're all, there's unity there.
Delighting in differences, which says, "Lord, teach me to respond to the personality and perspective differences of my spouse as blessings to complete me, not compete with me." 1 Corinthians 12:7 says, "But to each one is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good." When these two together make me realize that whatever grievances I have with him, or whatever frustrations I have with him because he's not doing things the way I would do it, just realizing that God purposefully puts us in relationship with people that are different than us to complement, so that when together we are whole, and that when I perceive him as being slow to respond, I can realize that actually he's very patient. Your differences are meant to complement mine, not to compete with mine. And my role is to lift you up and edify you. And when you bring those together, it's just the two come together so beautifully.
2 Timothy 2:7 promises that if we simply consider the truth of God, the Lord will give us understanding into everything. Everything. What a promise. Think of it. If this promise is true, then meditating for 15 minutes on just 12 prayers and truths leads to personal awakenings that you need in everything you're currently experiencing a problem in. Communication issues, conflict blow-ups, sexual intimacy, parenting, work balance, personal differences, roles in marriage, insight into everything through considering 12 short biblical prayers and biblical passages each day.
I think that we learned the lesson in marriage counseling when we were on our way to get married. And then we completely forgot, that we should be talking to one another daily. It definitely got better once we started coming here.